Yeah, before I start, I'll just say that this is basically a 3 talks in one because of Neil. So it's going to be pretty long, and just put a timer for himself too. We'll see how well it goes. I would blame Neil afterwards if it goes bad, which it will. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually refutil. It started from an email by Yarko to the profile orders list saying, hey, there's a random micro optimization idea that I have here. If you actually do a ref on foo or a or whatever equals array, we all do this all the time, actually gets compiled into a string equal against the constant array. And that's pretty silly. Quick test, if you have foo and then you print ref foo, you do this thing, is it yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Try again, yes or no?
No. Yes.
No? Good. Because that's an error there. What if it's a hash and then you try this, yes or no?
No. Yes.
No. Damn it. What about now? If I do this last thing? Okay, damn, yes, okay. So I thought of a solution, and the solution is basically, if you take foo and then you have whatever it is that provides foo and you do is array ref, then you can always say that, hey, yes, it is an array ref. And there's a bunch of other stuff, and there's regexpref and glob and format and IO, and I'll dare you to try and create one. So I wrote this thing, refutil, and what it does is actually it uses access, which is like a very powerful, I found variations of this picture, I love this and it's very, 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 very powerful. But in a way, it's also very, very simplistic, which people don't think about. So take this for instance, I don't know how many of you can see this, but it says SVT PVAV, which basically says a type of scalar value, which is an array. And if you actually use SV type on something and you check against it, you can say if something is an array. It's a very simple check, it's a flag. If it's a reference, you can use SVRB to do reference. You can use SVROK in order to check whether it's a reference before you try to do reference. And that's it. This is an entire function in access to check if something is an array ref in a way that in pure Perl is stupid to do. Now, taking a look and trying to make this a bit more powerful, what I looked at was custom ops, the ability to create custom operators inside the op tree in Perl at compile time, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a nice idea. This is a basic beginning. I'm not going to go through the entire code. I really don't have time, but basically it creates an op. It creates a function in access to then instantiate a check for that, and then in the check to replace that op with a different thing. So if this is the actual op that we want, this will be the simple one, which basically does the same thing, uses the poop and pop and push in order to read and write. I have a lot of time. I'm getting close to the end here. This is the implementation of an entire op that we will actually insert into the op tree. It actually plays along with the op tree to find the place where it should replace the op, and then it replaces the op with a new one to do the other check, which is pretty cool. So it's very, 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 very powerful. Custom ops are awesome, basically entered in 5.8. But CV set call checker, which I'm actually using, and xop entry, which allows you to provide information about the ops that you're creating for debugging purposes, are actually introduced in 2010. So, you know, great power comes whatever, with something. So what I did was just check if you have custom ops or not, according to whether you have functions. Then we can support all in ones using either the op or just this very simple xsub. Now, there's some prior art on this. Ref type, check it out. It actually uses a very simple core function that actually does something very, very similar, but not as an op. So the refutil is actually more than twice as fast as doing ref something equals array. Overloading, someone asked me, no, very, very bad. I will not support overloading. Overloading basically says, you have this thing, but you don't know what it is, you only care about how you can use it, which means it's completely opaque and you have no idea what you actually have until you try to use it and then fail. So no support. A lot of people helped me with this. I want to say thank you, Gonzalo and Andreas and Mattia and Rafael and Eve and Yarko, a few core developers. Gonzalo and Andreas and here, thank you very, very, very much for your help. I want to give a special thanks to Vicente, who helped a lot. He's behind the scenes. He knows the core like no one else. A very special thank you to P5P Club, which I want to talk about. P5P Club is a club that we started with hackers and Perl hackers, C hackers, whatever hackers. It's an open forum for beginners. How beginners? People who don't necessarily We study the Pro 5 core, we study access, we study a lot of access. We produce these things, some of which on GitHub, some of which on CPAN. Stack and Wine might actually be something different than Andres is working on. Bindings, thank you. It is really, really, really fun. It's a lot of fun, and work actually lets us do this during work. Speaking of core, the Pro 5 core, otherwise known as the Pro 5 porters. It is a group, it's a mailing list, you can read. Some people say, you know, you'll never find discoverability, but it's actually not true anymore. And it's very, very nice. But the only problem is it has a lot of traffic. Not just a lot of traffic, a lot of traffic. You didn't see this, but this is not in bold. Imagine. All right, the Pro 5 summaries, this is just a reminder, the Pro 5 summaries mailing list is a mailing list for all the summaries. You can go to the Twitter account, or you can go to my blog, and I summarize all of that if you don't want to follow the entire thing. Over, except I want to thank you guys. So thank you very much.
Next time I want 4 talks. You spent way too much time on the first one. You're just slacking.
Mark, I have an idea for a talk. I have 3 ideas. Which one should I do? How about you do all of them?
That's why